पूरा छोड़
हटे
ले
हटे हटे पीछे पीछे अबे यार
कोई नहीं, दोबारा ले लो।
ये तो बराबर आने का
गुड मॉर्निंग।
देखा और name. The two is not, and the Bhuvan Sharma. This four is not two. The two, and this Rajini Yadav.
New energy has come to this conference hall.
कैमरा ऊपर अरे लाओ
तो अभी लोग आप अभी अरे ये बहुत अच्छा
Everybody, I welcome all the delegates to this conference. We are going to start our first scientific session, and that is challenges to the veterinary profession. I invite chair of the session, Dr. Subal Patra, co-chair of the session, Dr. Sheila Singh, and rapporteur, Dr. Umesh Ontak. Please come on the stage. And our keynote speaker today is Dr. S. Abdul Rahman. And so I request the chair to start the session, please.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much to be called me here and chair the prestigious Indian Veterinary Association conference. I thank to Dr. Kadianji, all the dignitaries coming from the different states of our country and also from abroad. Thanks to Dr. Abdul Rahmanji. You know, today our topics of discussion, which will be delivered by Dr. S. Abdul Rahmanji, who is a retired professor of parasitology and a former dean of the Bangalore Veterinary College, India. He has 40 years of service as a teacher and has specialized in animal welfare and zoonotic diseases. He has been involved in veterinary association activities for the last 30 years, being the secretary and the vice president of Indian Veterinary Association for 14 years. He is also the councillor, regional representative, secretary, and president of the Commonwealth Veterinary Association, and now he is currently the executive director and past president of Commonwealth Veterinary Association. Dr. Rahmanji chaired the YE working group on animal welfare and was the chair of the World Veterinary Association Zoonotic Disease Working Group and as a member of the Constitution and the Vital Committees of World Veterinary Association. He is one of the presidents of the Alliance of Rabies Control and founder member of the Association for Prevention and Control of Rabies in India. He has been associated with the World Veterinary Association activities since 1986, representing India to World Veterinary Association in ethics and was elected as the World Veterinary Association Councillor representing International Association in 2015. His version for World Veterinary Association is to be actively engaged in the upliftment of the veterinary profession, especially in the developing of the countries of the world. Now, Dr. S. Abdul Rahmanji, I am inviting you please come to the dais and deliver your lecture, and all the dignitaries I am requesting please have the lecture, and we will be ending in this please Dr. S. Abdul Rahman.
Namaste, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to thank Dr. Kadian and all his office bearers of the Indian Veterinary Association for reviving the Indian Veterinary Association. It's also my pleasure that after a very long time of more than 20 years, 24 years, I'm again standing on the platform of Indian Veterinary Association. So for me, it's a very nostalgic occasion that I'm very happy to see that the Indian Veterinary Association is once again revived, and we are now back into the system where we are going to give professional upliftment to the veterinary profession. And with all delegates who have come from various states, I think you are all part of this association, and I'm sure that you will continue to do this, to support and work for the upliftment of the veterinary profession in your respective states as well.
Today my lecture would be on what the challenges which the veterinary profession is facing. I'm not going into all the challenges because we have selected a panel of experts who are individually going to speak on the various challenges. From my perspective today, I'm just going to set the scene for the 2 days of conference from the perspective of the association point of view, from the Commonwealth Veterinary Association, basically Indian Veterinary Association. Then I also represent the World Veterinary Association and also the Association for the Small Animal World Small Animal Veterinary Association. From an outsider's perspective, from an association's perspective, what are the challenges which the profession is facing and how we need to address them? Because from my point of view, the associations play a very important role because they are the pressure groups where we can pressurize and influence the bureaucrats and also the government machinery to implement some of the issues which the profession is facing. So the associations not only are service-oriented organizations, but also scientific ones. And it is our responsibility to brief and enlighten the governments and also the bureaucrats who run the governments as to what the issues are which the profession is facing and how we, the veterinarians, have to be prepared in order to address these issues. So I'm going to just highlight some of the issues in the next few minutes, and then I will leave it to the experts whom we have assembled here on different topics to enlighten you more on the scientific aspects of what I am going to set the scene for. Now, see, when at least some of you are very young and some of you have, were not even born when I graduated. So when we studied veterinary science, it was purely for the sake of treatment of animals. And old traditional medicine, Lux vomica, pregnancy diagnosis, and all those things. The role of the veterinarians was very, very limited, just to treat animals and get back. So that was the role. Today, veterinarians are now extremely well placed to positively influence the whole future health and welfare of animals, and that too now with zoonotic diseases, including humans. And the role which the veterinarians are playing today is entirely different from the role which I was taught to play as a graduate veterinarian when I graduated way back in 1965. So today the veterinarians have got a different role to play. Now, before we go into that, there are certain things which are happening in the world today. The context of globalization, wherein there is unprecedented movement of people, and also along with the people, the pathogens are moving, and then there are various issues like climate changes and human behavior, which allow this colonization of new pathogens. And then we have got what we know as the 5 Ts, that is trade, travel, transport, tourism, and terrorism. They're all playing a part in the entire society, which is directly or indirectly reflecting on the profession. And we have to meet all these challenges when we have to address these issues. Now, what is the current global scenario? The world population in 2050 will be roughly 9 billion. Today it's about 6 billion. And it will be 9 billion, but they will be eating like 12 billion people at that time, because they'll have more appetite, they'll have more requirement of food. And we'll have to see that our production matches to that particular level by 2050. In addition, the domestic population is also rising. It's not that, but at the rate which it is going, it may not be enough by 2050 unless we take some positive action. Then there is an issue now where the consumption pattern of people have changed. Today, because of the affluent society,
we have got more purchasing power, and now the consumers are now having enough resources to procure more for their food. I remember when I was a child, if I buy a chicken from in the store, from the chicken shop, people used to ask, oh, you are having some guests today. So the chicken was slaughtered only when you have guests. But today now, we are eating chicken 3 times a day. So the consumption patterns have changed in a very drastic way, and I'll show you some slides which also say that, show you how the consumption is increasing. And then the food habits of the people are also changing. More and more people are, extremes are there. More and more people are becoming vegetarian. Some people, more and more vegetarians are going into non-vegetarian food, etc. And then the paradox of it is, though we have got abundant grain reserves, most of our people, especially our population in India, go hungry in the night and they don't even have a square meal. So this is a paradox. We have got enough production, especially in the agriculture sector. Grains are there, they are rotting, rats are eating, that kind of situation. Now, the growth of the livestock sector, where veterinarians will be directly involved, is also very important for us, and unless we increase the growth of this animal production is increased, we will not be able to meet the demand for which we are forecasting in 2050. And then, see, if you look at the increase in the global demand for food, there are 1 billion people by 2050. Demand for animal pattern, notably milk and eggs, will increase. If you see the graph, over the last few years, it is continuously increasing and it will continue to increase. And unless the production follows, we will be at a great disadvantage. So this is one of the biggest challenges which we are going to have. Now these are some of the projected figures in increasing in meat and increasing in milk consumption over a period of from 2000 to 2030. Now these slides, all of you are familiar. We have got estimated growth in the global demand for dairy. It will be about in 2000 it was 580 million tons, and by 2050 it will be requiring about more than 1,443 million tons. So this is almost double. Now similarly, we have got meat consumption of meat also is increasing, especially in the Asian countries and China. It is going very fast, and in India also we are seeing that situation. Now, the estimated global demand for meat will be, in 2000, it was 229 million tons, and it's now going to be very high in the by the time we are 2050. Now, we also have an issue where a lot of food is wasted. And these figures will show you that the huge amounts of food are wasted. According to FAO, nearly 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted. And all of us, especially Indian scenario, we are familiar in weddings. We order so much of food, and everyone in the, there's so much of wastage, and also, especially when you see that food is wasted, it's very sad. Anyway, now, present scenario in India, that is, in spite of our agricultural progress and food safety over the last, since independence, our agriculture today is usually reflected to a gamble in the monsoon. We have got, since most of us are here who are representing India from a cross section, either we have got floods, other we have got drought. We have got floods in Assam, now we are seeing a drought in Maharashtra and in Karnataka, northern Karnataka. So with this vagaries of monsoon is affecting the production of milk and livestock sector as well as agriculture sector. Now, see, because of these issues of various poverty, hunger, etc., the United Nations started the Millennium Development Goals. It was signed about a few years back, 2007, and they expected that by 2015 they will reduce the hunger and poverty in the world. But unfortunately, we could not meet that by 2015, even half that goals were not met. So the United Nations, with all the member countries, again decided to have what are known as the Sustainable Development Goals. Now these goals were made to see that we end extreme poverty, fight inequality, and fight injustice. Now there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm sure you can't see very clearly. Out of this 17, nearly 12 are directly related to the veterinary profession. So the importance which we are attaining for the sustainable development goals, the role of the veterinarian is going to be very important. Out of this 17, nearly 12 are directly involved in the veterinary profession, from the veterinary profession. Now, what are the main challenges to the veterinary profession as of today? The main challenges today is to help fight poverty and hunger, control animal diseases, especially zoonotic diseases, and then there are issues which are coming from climate change and antimicrobial resistance, and then of course I have been talking the last few minutes, we have to increase the animal production. Now all these challenges are interlinked, and each one is linked to the other. Now summarizing what we think, we know there are many challenges. We can summarize these challenges into 5 main areas as of today. That is food safety and security, emerging zoonotic diseases, antimicrobial resistance, climate change, and animal welfare. Now the next 2 days, we have got experts in this audience who are going to talk more about each one of these topics, and they'll give you a better picture. I'm just going to highlighting what the issues are. So these are beginning, but just to give a few examples of this thing. Today, consumers are more concerned about issues of animal welfare and food products quality. We are very concerned now about food security. How is our milk produced? How is our chicken produced, etc. So there is a change in the consumers' attitude also. So the consumers are also playing a very important role as far as animal welfare is also concerned. I'll come to that later. Now veterinarians play a very important role in ensuring that, for example, just one example, safety of milk, especially from antibiotic resistance, salmonella, typhimurium, etc. Now the next very important issue is emerging and re-emerging diseases. If you look at this map, the whole world is facing this very grave situation where these issues are becoming a big concern. And emerging and re-emerging diseases, out of these diseases, nearly 80% of these diseases are zoonotic in nature. So this is where the role of the veterinarians becomes very important. Now, what are the other compounding factors of emerging zoonotic diseases? Poaching, getting into the forest, poaching and bush meat consumption, increased urbanization, decreased land availability, and then deforestation, and pathogens hitchhike on as a result of globalization and tourism, etc. Today, we can travel from one part of the world to another in few hours, and also it is easy for the pathogens also to travel those distances. Now, among the emerging zoonotic diseases, the risk factors precipitating the occurrence of these diseases are the state of continuous evolution and agents relevant to Southeast Asia. These include avian influenza, rabies, Japanese encephalitis, leptospirosis, cysticercosis, etc. In addition, plague and anthrax are also considered important in India. Now, avian influenza, as you know, is a very important thing. From time and again, it is propping up. But one of the issues which are there is that vast majority of animal viruses, avian influenza viruses found in birds, do not represent a public health concern. And then this is a spread of avian influenza around the world. And the risk to human beings, it could cross. The predictability is that it may cross to humans as it did in the Spanish flu of the early century, and we have to be very careful that this does not happen. And the veterinarians are the sentinels, because it is the veterinarian who diagnoses this in birds at the earliest, and then he is the one who takes care and reports it so that it can be prevented from going into human beings. But unfortunately, I have always been telling that veterinarians are very bad public relation people. We are very shy. Even in the audience, veterinarians will sit at the last bench. They will never be in the front bench. So as a result, the veterinarians do all the dirty work, and the human doctors take the credit. Their photos are all in newspapers. They come on the TV and say, we controlled avian influenza. They have not controlled avian influenza. Avian influenza was controlled by that veterinarian who diagnosed avian influenza virus in the bird in the farm. So his name is not there, his farm is there. That's what doctors will claim that there are no doctors in the audience, no, human doctors. Yeah. So this is how it goes. We are very bad public relation people. Now there are other viruses which we have to be very careful about and which are going to be there, and we are taking examples of this. Now Henipaviruses, most important is Nipah virus and then Hendra virus. And we saw recently the outbreak of Nipah virus in Kerala and of course in Bangladesh, West Bengal and Bangladesh. It has taken heavy toll earlier. And this is the distribution. You can see most of the Asian region, we have got this virus. Now, Hendra virus is a direct threat to veterinarians. Peter is here. In Australia, 2 veterinarians have died due to Hendra virus infection, especially those who are equine practitioners. And there have been death of horses, and 4 people have died since 1994. And there's a 57% case fatality rate and 40% case fatality in horses. So, people in the equine industry, veterinarians in the equine industry have to be very careful to see that all precautions are taken to prevent such viruses. Of course, Nipah virus I mentioned. This has been again the fatalities, and pigs are the main reservoirs of this, and the bats are the transmitting agent. Now, in this also we have got a lot of people have been even recently last month there were outbreaks of Nipah virus in Kerala. Now, Ebola, again, deforestation, etc., and that's how it has come from a very major zoonotic disease. Now, rabies, this is my subject, so I'm going to talk a little, 2 minutes more than other viruses as a parasitologist, which I'm now migrated now to virology. I always give this example. Being a parasite, we have always to look at a new host. Because once we exhaust the host, we go into a new host. So I branched into virology after exhausting parasitology. So we have got now, rabies is one thing. Why I want to stress about rabies is, for every human death of rabies, I hold a veterinarian responsible. The reason is that if we can control rabies in dogs, as veterinarians, we can be saving human lives. So rabies today is, in India, nearly about 20,000 people die of rabies. And then we don't know how many dogs die every year with rabies, and veterinarian's role becomes very important in controlling this. And then in India, of course, the dog is the main transmitter of rabies, with 96% of people seeking anti-rabies treatment. Now, the tragedy of this is that rabies is, if you see that the Southeast Asia is the highest representation of rabies deaths in the world. Now, if you look at the global deaths of 55,000, in Asia itself it will be 31,000 in Asia, and in Southeast Asia it will be about Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bangladesh and Pakistan itself will have nearly about 31,000 people. In India alone, it will be 20,000 people as of the 2004 figures are dying of rabies. And all these people, these photographs are taken from a Bangalore isolation hospital. I've seen these people die, especially children. It's very sad that it happens. Now, except for Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, India is the rabies is almost throughout the country except for this. I just skip through this. And unfortunately, in India, no systematic survey has been done on the dogs. We don't know how many dogs are there. Everyone gives an estimated figure. And and now we have the OIE, WHO, FAO, we have got a tripartite agreement to say that we should control rabies by 2030. This is the slogan. Every September 28, we celebrate World Rabies Day, and the message which goes is, you should vaccinate dogs. If all the dogs, 70% of the dogs are vaccinated, you'll be able to control rabies in human beings. This is the thing. So, now, there are various incidents of rabies in the various parts of the country, but unfortunately rabies is not a notifiable disease either in human beings nor in animals. So, through the Indian Veterinary Association, I would like to request Dr. Kadian to impress upon the new Honorable Minister of Animal Husbandry to make rabies a notifiable disease, because it's not going to cost the exchequer anything. It is going to be, it's all one letter from the minister would be enough. And I think once we do it, we take the lead, then I'm sure that the Human Health Ministry will also take. If you do this notifiability of the disease, we'll be saving a lot of lives, human lives, and the role of the veterinarians will be very much thing. Now, I'll just go through some of the slides which are there. The, bites of the dogs, with human beings, all these people whom we are seeing in the play, I have seen them die of rabies, and it's a pitiable sight. I mean, just to I'll go through very quickly and don't want to waste my your time. And then, why people still do die of rabies is most of lack of awareness. They don't know what to do, how to wash the wound, and what to do, what vaccinations to take, and how many vaccinations to take. Now immunoglobulins are available. Now we are going into monoclonal antibodies to replace immunoglobulins. So there's a lot of scientific achievements have been made, and we have got veterinarians have to play a very important role. In each of your area, if you create an awareness program, especially with the schools about rabies, we have got literature from in all languages of the country, and we'll help you. I'll help you with this, and I want you to take this message to have on September 28th this year. Each one of you have come from different states. Please celebrate World Rabies Day by doing an awareness campaign, by taking a vaccination campaign against dogs, and creating an awareness among the public also what to do and how to take this thing. So the biggest issue is the stray dog challenges, which are issues are there. But the stray dogs, there's a lot of garbage available for the stray dogs, so that's the main the reason why there are so many stray dogs there. And then we should have a One Health approach. We should have intersectoral collaboration between veterinarians, human health, and also with the municipal corporations, etc., so that it can be attacked in a way. Now, this is about emerging and emerging diseases. The next very important issue is animal welfare. Now, animal welfare is very unfortunate that this is one of the biggest challenges the veterinary profession will be facing, because the WTO, all the countries, we have got standards on animal welfare which we have developed by the OIE, and there are all these standards are there for each country to follow, and India is a signatory to it. The Animal Husbandry Commissioner has signed this, and it is mandatory that we follow these standards. It's up to the country to pick up what are the good points of the standard. Now, the reason this is, if you don't follow those standards, our trade will not be there. They will not declare India not animal welfare friendly, and we cannot export eggs, we cannot export milk, we cannot export other commodities. So it's going to be a challenge. Now, unfortunately for us, which is very sad, India is the only country where the animal welfare is enshrined in our constitution. But having worked in animal welfare for 30 years, I can tell you, the animal welfare is the most abused in our country. That is the sad part of it. We talk about animal welfare from the time of Ashoka. Unfortunately, we are not practicing in reality. We have got very good legislations. We have got the Dog Control Act, we have got the ABC Act, we have so many legislations. But implementation of this is very, how it happens in our country. And that is the reason why there is a lot of suffering of animals, and we need to address this very, very on a war footing. See, today we are talking about animal welfare in a very, we think that animal welfare is some NGOs going and shouting and catching stray dogs and giving injections and sterilization. That is not animal welfare. That's a different thing. Today animal welfare is right from the time of production. All our production methods friendly for the animal. How are we tying the animal? How are we housing that animal? How are we looking after that animal? What is the treatment? All those encompasses the animal. Now, consumers are also demanding animal welfare. People go with free-range eggs. They don't want to eat eggs which are by the cage, which are raised in the cage system. So all these issues are there, and then veterinarians will be playing a very important role. Now, animal welfare is again interrelated. Now, the other very important issue with the veterinarians are little hampered in disaster management. Whenever there is a flood, whenever there is an earthquake, whenever there is a drought, we have to take the lead. I'm sure that most of you who are doing that think disaster management is a very important issue, and the veterinarians have to be up to the front. Now, a few years back, the World Animal Protection, they had this training program in Ranchi Veterinary College for students, veterinary students, in management of flood situation, management of disaster situation. So they have got, I think Bombay Veterinary College also has got students enrolled in that. So disaster management training is also becoming part of the veterinary curriculum, and we should be geared to that. So this day. Now the most important issue is Dr. Raghavendra Bhatt is here. He is going to talk tomorrow about this climate change I don't want to, take, because it's just my heading which I'm giving you. He'll go in depth on that. Today, climate change is going to be a very important issue for the role of the veterinarians also. And that we need to challenge, we take it up as a very exhaustive, and very in-depth challenge. Now, just to briefly tell you, what are the main impacts? This is how I have taken it from Dr. Bhatt only, so he's going to tell tomorrow again. This is decrease in milk production, decrease in reproduction performance. All these are going to affect, our climate change is going to affect the animal production, which again is going to be the big challenge. Now, the technological interventions, genetic selection, improved pasture management, housing management, etc., which is going to talk tomorrow. Now, the other very important issue with the veterinary profession is facing is the antimicrobial resistance. Today, everyone is talking about antimicrobial resistance, and this is because of the indiscriminate use of antibiotics, both by veterinarians as well as by the non-veterinarians, and quacks, and livestock inspectors, poultry farmers, etc. In the name of growth promoters, they are using high-end antibiotics like cholesterol and endosulfins, etc., which becomes a very big issue later on because we will not have enough antibiotics to treat human beings, especially the children. So this is going to be a very big issue, and I'm sure we'll hear about it tomorrow again. This issue from the experts, and the result today is a very big issue which we are tackling. The WHO, OIE, and FAO have got again a tripartite agreement on the handling of antimicrobial resistance all over the world, and the World Veterinary Association, the Commonwealth Veterinary Association, we have issued position statements for the use of veterinarians, and they are all available on the website. And then, of course, it's a complex problem in veterinary medicine. I just don't want to. And this is worldwide. And so you can see some of the figures, how many people are dying because of antimicrobial resistance. There's not enough of antibiotics to treat. When we end into that higher level, there will not be any antibiotic left for you to treat human beings especially. They have got so many deaths in 22,000 people, 50,000 people are dying in every different parts of the world. Now, way to tackle AMR is again an intersectoral collaboration, which I don't want to go through this. Now, conclusion, what needs to be done? With the demand of animal protein to feed the nearly 9 million people, and 2 million, at least 2 million in India by 2050, we need to strengthen the veterinary profession by increasing the number of veterinary institutions. That's number one. This is from the Indian perspective. The science of animal production must continue to push newer frontiers. We need to have animal genetics, design of breeding programs, genotypic environmental interaction, genomic selection, disease resistance, and support animal welfare productivity related trade-offs. And then innovative and new technologies are required to animal production and communicating the advantages of our research to the farmers. That is very, very important for us. And more cooperation among scientists, media, and policymakers. And then a strategy to the Indian livestock economy serving food security requires new technology and changing consumption behavior. A big push to enhance livestock productivity for the country's food and nutrition security is needed. Now, can the veterinary profession meet these challenges? Is the veterinary curriculum in veterinary colleges adequate to educate the new generation? See, we need to change. What I read 40 years back doesn't hold good anymore for the new veterinarians. We need to change the syllabus, and that is where the Veterinary Council of India will have to play a very important role in addressing these issues which will be facing not only you, but the future profession, future generation. All the veterinary colleges properly equipped to efficiently train the vets. Now we have got mushrooming of veterinary colleges. There's no staff members. Most of us, I'm talking from Karnataka, we have got 5 colleges now. There are hardly any staff members in each college. So these are the issues which are hampering the thing. Are the governments providing adequate funding? That's very important. And the vets being supervised and tested. See, once you graduate, there's no testing of the veterinarian for his life. So we need, unless other places, other countries, the veterinarians have to get, tested every 5 years, then only they can continue to practice. So that is also there. Now, what is urgently needed? Strengthen the capacity of the countries globally, to maintain national animal health and veterinary public health system, can provide the surveillance, early detection, etc., which the OE is giving guidance in that. Now, as far as the country is concerned, India, with a huge population and problems of poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, and social and economic unrest, diversities of culture, religion, and language, and with this 70% of its population living in rural areas, has survived the last 6 decades post-independence with sheer grit and determination, and has emerged as a nation superpower with many firsts to its credit. They have got first in production, animal, milk production, etc. Now, in the industrial sector, it has become a leader in the information technology. In the agriculture and livestock sector, it has achieved self-sufficiency and even surplus agriculture growth. It is left to one's imagination and intelligence that if India could achieve all this with the limited resources which we are putting in, then, excuse me, can you move please? I'm reading that. Yeah. It is left to one's imagination and intelligence that if India mentioned above could happen if poverty and hunger were eliminated and unemployment solved, no country in the world would then be able to match its power. If we are hampered only with our poverty and that is the habit. Livestock sector is the most important alternative to agriculture to meet the challenges posed by poverty, etc., to provide food to the India in particular and the whole planet in general. The entire world is solely dependent upon who? Veterinarians. So this is the take-home message which is there. Thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you very much, Dr. S. Abdul Rahmanji. Rahmanji details discussed about the emerging challenge to the veterinarians, and also we also know from this discussion how we can work on this challenge, particularly how we maintain the food safety and the control of the zoonotic disease, which is badly affect the human being as well as the production of the livestock products. And he also discussed about the Animal Welfare Act that should be maintained, otherwise the production of the livestock product may not be increased. Not only that, he also discussed about the disaster management and the antimicrobial resistance and all about the emerging challenge to the veterinarian. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Rahmanji. Now the matter is for discussion and also the question answer for the dignitaries. Please, if anybody want to put your question, you can put the question.
Thank you, O wise one. My question, I think, is something that we've also discussed in the Commonwealth Veterinary Association, and I apologise for not introducing myself. I'm Dr. Peter Thornburg, President of the Commonwealth Veterinary Association. But you alluded to it in your talk, Dr. Rahman. But I think a question I pose, and we don't have to answer it fully yet, but we probably should think about it by the end of tomorrow. Are we doing enough as a challenge in our veterinary profession in developing leadership and taking on leadership? I think it's a critical thing for our profession. We do a lot of work on continuing professional development with our own technical standards, but are we doing enough with leadership and communications to give vets the skills to engage in public policy and engagement with government and take a strong professional leadership approach?
I think that's a very valid point, because we are now at least we are, since this is the Indian Veterinary Association Forum, and we are not talking about India. Today we are very fortunate that we have got a separate Ministry of Animal Husbandry, and the Honourable Minister is also very proactive, and we should take advantage of this and see that what you have said is addressed, and see how the professional engagement, continuous professional development, and especially the younger generation to be trained as future leaders of the profession has to be addressed. So this is where the associations will be playing a very important role, and the Indian Veterinary Association, I'm sure, will come up with your expectations which we have.
Respected Dr. Ramanji, this is Dr. Bhatta from Chennai. During 74, 77, 78, I did a small stray dog control program. During my period, the dogs will be captured and will be retained for 3 days, fed, and wait for the pet owner to come and claim the dog. If there are no claims, the dogs will be electrocuted and it will be buried. What I thought was, as a veterinarian, it is an inedible protein. It need not be wasted. Being a scientific process, the inedible protein can be converted into edible protein by processing the dog carcasses. Nearly about 180,000 dogs have been processed during my period of 1.5 years. The skin was taken and converted into leather. The meat and bone meal was prepared out of the dog carcasses.
What is your question?
Yeah, I am coming now. The money earned out of this was retained to take the rabies control program by purchasing the vaccines. And this was possible if the stray dogs are eliminated and the pet dogs are vaccinated. And finally, a self-sustaining program was planned, which was appreciated by FAO, and we call it as a pioneering work. Now that the country is banning the killing of dogs, can our association take it as an issue and make the government to reconsider and say that stray dogs can be utilized and the money can be made to protect the pet dogs by giving the free vaccination? That's my question.
See, there's one very important thing, not only in India, but for the world. We cannot kill dogs inhumanely unless and until a veterinarian certifies that it is beyond its, as euthanasia. In India, it's not, we have to be very careful. We don't kill dogs. This is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is that now the concept between WHO, OIE, and FAO, all our other organizations is that the sterilization of dog is not the solution for controlling rabies. It's impossible to do that. The correct solution for controlling rabies is vaccination of dogs. We are not talking about killing of dogs at all. There's no need to kill the dogs. And if you can vaccinate, even 70, if not 70, even 50% of the dogs, if you vaccinate, we can control rabies. That's number one. Now, if you are talking about the resources of catching dogs and sterilizing, the next alternative which we are talking about is oral vaccination, oral vaccine. By paid, distribution of paid, and we can't, that again, it has to be done under supervision. So the present agreement, which all of us have agreed upon, is that the answer to this is vaccination of dogs, whether stray dogs or pet dogs. Our survey in 2004 has indicated that 56% of human deaths were due to pet dogs, not due to stray dogs. Only 46% were due to stray dogs. So what does it mean? It means irresponsible pet ownership. But they don't go to veterinarians, they don't vaccinate their dogs, that is why that's happening. So we have to inculcate that vaccination is very important, both in pet as well as in stray dogs.
Any more questions?
I have a question, sir.
My request is that we have panel discussion.
I think what Dr. Singh is, because we are hard for time, anything interaction I can do it when we are having tea. Please meet me, I'll discuss with you. Yeah.
Sir, first of all, your presentation was very excellent. Thank you, sir, for such excellent presentation, sir. Sir, as you know, we vets are actually were taking a good role for food safety and the food security of people, sir. So right now, in the dairy sector, as well as in the meat production, sir, for there is a problem of adulteration in milk, antibiotic residue in milk. Such things, sir, is a very problem in India. Yesterday there was a meeting on the quality of milk. Such thing also it was we discussed it. Then regarding in poultry sector, poultry meat, it is the very common meat in India. So in poultry meat production, there are questions of this antibiotic resistance, such things. So I would like to request your suggestion regarding the reduction of this adulteration in milk and this reduction in the antibiotic residue in poultry as well as in dairy sector that we can do, sir.
Say, as far as antimicrobial resistance is Dr. Vijay Singh is going to talk tomorrow. Today, sorry, he is going to talk today and he will be able to enlighten you more. I think that would be there. I think no, because
Thanks everybody. We are very much sorry because we are going to too much late. At least 1 hour. There are so many speakers also, and our main program will be start very shortly. So thank you to everybody to cooperate with us, and also thanks to Dr. S. Ramanji. So the session is now closed. The next session will be start shortly. Thank you everybody.
we are going to, or IBA is going to felicitate Dr. Rahman and by conferring Lifetime Achievement Award. So that is to be done tomorrow in the Valley District Council. Thank you, Dr. Rahman, for your Now we are going to start our next session, food safety and nutritional security. So thank you very much, Dr. Bapla, Dr. Silasin, and Dr. Sankate for conducting this session. So for the next session, I would like to invite Dr. V.P. to chair the session, and Dr. Dominic Dan to co-chair, and Dr. Kajinder Rai as rapporteur. Session, please. I will request the audience to take care of the time. We are really short of time. So if you ask questions, don't make a big background to the questions. Just take care of it. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So we are starting with the next section, that is on food safety and nutritional score and security. It's very important. And before start, I would like to thank Dr. Chittaranjan Kagyan, Dr. Ajit Singh, and also Dr. Umesh for organizing such a wonderful conference and also reviving Indian Veterinary Association. They deserve a special applause from all of you. And food safety and nutrition security is so complex and important that on one hand, we have the population which is having obesity. On the other hand, we have the population which is having so many deficiencies. And without worrying you much, our first speaker is Dr. Professor J.P.S. Gill. He is the Director of Research, Guru Angad Dev University and Animal Science from Ludhiana, Punjab. Sir, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I thank the Indian Veterinary Association, Dr. Ajit Singh, Dr. Kadir, and all the office bearers to giving me an opportunity to deliver a talk on one of my favorite topics, that's the chemical contaminants. Before joining as a director of research, I worked for about 25 years as a director of School of Public Health and Zoonosis, only one school in India. So I worked on the chemical contaminant, pesticide, antibiotic residues. So every time there is misconceptions or myths by the media which is affecting our veterinary profession, our dairy farmers. So in today's talk, I'm just giving what is the actual picture, what are the basic problems, and how we can tackle it. So, livestock sector plays an important role in Indian economy. About 10.5 million spent on the livelihood, 16% small farmer income, and 14% all rural household income is from the livestock sector. Livestock provide livelihood to the 2/3 of the rural population, provide 8.8% employment to the population, and to 25.6% of total agriculture GDP. India has the highest livestock population, number 1 in buffalo, number 2 in cattle and goats, number 2 in production of egg, and 3rd in population of sheep, 5th in population of. I am just giving this data to come in the next portion. Fine. So, contribution of the veterinarian in the livestock sector. Holistic approach of all the veterinarian is to improving the productivity. Whether we are a surgeon, medicine person, or a public health person, final aim is to have more milk, more meat, more egg, more byproducts to make the farming economically and sustainable. So this is our veterinarian's role. So our contribution has made India number 1 in milk producer, produces 76 million ton milk, 95 million eggs, 8.89 million ton meat, and the total value is about 8,11,000 crores. So we are growing at a very fast rate, up to the 4.6 growth rate, whereas agriculture is growing at the rate of about 1 or 2% in many states. So what is the future of our livestock industry? We have seen 2 last disastrous years of dairy industry. The price of the milk has gone about 1/2 for the farmers, not for the consumers. In my state, Punjab, about 30% of the farmers have left the profession, dairy profession, mainly the big farmers. The backyard dairy farming is decreasing very fastly. Threat of the dumping of poultry meat every time. Threat of dumping of some of the milk product in India. Yesterday in the Hindustan Times there was the news that Indian dairy industry is in a big problem because the free trade is going on for the milk products and many countries will be dumping the milk in India. Impact of media on poultry meat consumption. If there is a news, the prices of the poultry fell down drastically, and for the milk product consumption. We have too much milk is hurting. This is the media news. Too much milk is hurting India's already distressed dairy industry. Consumer perception about the livestock product quality is not good, mainly due to the media campaigns, some short investigation reports, not confirming the results and following the SOP. Media reports comes in the media. No database to counter these reports. No counter campaign by our veterinarians. No enforcement of our regulations and adulteration of the milk. So the perception of the public about the milk product is decreasing. So these are the few news just in the about 5 or 6 months that have been coming in the news about our milk and milk product or the dairy product or the pesticides. So on the other hand side, I have taken this slide, borrowed this slide. There is increasing demand of our food sources in the low middle income companies and high. We have a very good opportunity. Then to tap the international market, what is our future scope? We have to tap the international market to win the confidence of the consumers. Our product must comply with the domestic or international regulations for the bacterial and viral pathogens, antibiotic, pesticide, hormones, aflatoxins, heavy metal. Except the first part, I will be taking the care of the last 5 or 6 points in my present. So these are the global food safety issues. So coming from all the residues and bacterial campaigns. So these are the global issues. So in the WHO or FAO, it is also considered as one of the major component of the contaminated food as one of the public health problems and cause of the reduced economic productivity. A survey was conducted in USA and the other 2 countries. They are to rank the food as hazards. By the scientists, the microbial pathogens are considered number 1, then nutritional imbalance, environment, natural toxin. But what is the consumer perception? Consumer consider pesticide as number 1, number 2, antibiotic number 3, and the microbial pathogens number 3. Why this? Because these things comes in the media that we are giving all the toxic material to the farmers, the consumers. So the drug resistance, E. coli. So these are the media campaigns we are coming on. They consider cow as just full of all the pathogens and the contaminants. This is the poultry. They consider poultry like this. So why everybody is talking about the residues these days? So we have to work for the. Earlier we are working for the food production. We have to go for the quality food production. So quality food mainly emphasis is by the SPS and TBTF agreement EBT, international regulation, zero tolerance, public awareness, and media. So we have the problems about the less pathogen load post after good army practices, and for the residues, mycotoxin, drug residues, heavy metal, and pesticide residues. So these are, I will skip the pesticides, I will discuss it. They have attracted the major media attractions, so they are coming from the environment. The main thing is that the pesticide has, most of the pesticide have half-life about more than 10 years. If we ban these pesticides today, then they will be in our environment for 5 to 10 years. That's why that they are coming in our products, and we do not have any immediate remedy. So these are the few of the effects. Everybody knows it. Effect on kidney cancer, reduced fertility, congenital defect, teratogenesis, and DNA. So I am giving the basic data, what I have done in my lab, my capacity, not for few samples. I have the data of about testing about 6,000 or 7,000 samples from each of the food products. So what I will show you what the real picture is. So this is the main problem, that we do not standardize our procedures. We standardize our procedures, minimum detection limits. So similarly, we have for all the 37 pesticides, we have done the work. We confirm our result with LCMMS. This is the time series. Time series plot for the DDT and HCH method. If we consider that what the levels in my lab was in 2000, the mean concentration, and what is the 2017. So it has decreased very slightly by the 2010. Every year the rate of the residues start decreasing after banning of DDT and BHC, and now it's taken about 2.5 years to have the zero levels in India for these residues. So if we see that from where the residues are coming in the milk, the main thing is the feed and fodder. If we see the earlier graphs, each is for the feed and fodder. In samples we have feed and fodder, the residues are there, they are coming in our milk products. Similarly, the trends that of the 41 farms I have tested, we have tested that if the farm has the pesticide residues in its feed, they have the residues in the milk, the yellow and the blue peaks. Only two pesticides, or one pesticide, which comes from environment, has no role in the environment. So we have to see from where the pesticides are coming in our feed. So having a mitigation strategy, we have to control it. So in this type of the work, we are finding that what is the source, and we test the samples of milk, feed, water, and the soil samples from one farm, and what is the contaminant of the source. So we have the data for the last few years. So the one thing I want to say, our methods have become very, very sophisticated. Even nanograms per gram are detected. Simply presence of pesticide residues in any food doesn't mean the food is contaminated. We have to see that whether it is above MRL or below MRL. You will see that the samples are most of the samples are below MRL samples, and only 1 or 2-3% samples are above MRL. Just like in the fish, we do not find, we have the residues in about 30-40% samples, but all the samples are below MRL. So second, simply for the raw honey. Honey, we have the samples, about 100 samples, we have the 18% samples which are above the maximum residue limits, which is a problem of concern. Simply from the, if we go for the branded honey or the uncertified branded honey has the maximum residues than the farmer honey or the certified honey. So these type of studies are, all the people are doing in India. I'm not going in detail it. So recently we have done about 150 samples of the meat, only they are the 30% above the residues, wine milk 4% above the residues, fish none, and the other samples for the organophosphorus it is 10% above the residues. Our milk product, earlier when I have done work in 2000, about 80% of the DDT samples are ghee and butter are positive for the DDT and PHC, but now in the recent study in 2016, none of the ghee and butter samples were found positive for the residues. So we do all the mapping of the residues. We need to have a database like this. Each state, a district of the our Punjab, we have the which type of the residues are present in. Then we found the what are the incremental agents, just like that. Then from each state, we have the what type of each district, what type of the residue they have. So this type of the data will give us the trends, what are the trends going on these days, what is the new pesticide coming on. So we need to have a database to counter the media campaign like this. So if the residues are coming in the low level, what is their effect? So we have read that what is the total pesticide if we are consuming, if it's present in our diet. So only concern is the data method is 55 is of the concern, rest is of not of concern. Similarly, for the if you consume the fish, it is not of any health impact if it is very low dose. We can calculate the hazard index. If we consume a pesticide or any contaminant throughout our life, that dose, then we weight of that, we have a formula that if the hazard index comes above 1, then it is can cause the impact on the human health. So when we do this type of analysis, none of the sample has the hazard index that up to that level. But presently, we have the low risk for the pesticide. We have decreased levels of the organochlorine pesticide, appearance of the new pesticide has started. So we are doing the human modeling, histopathology to study the genotoxic effect and immunotoxic effects. Just like, I will just show you this, it may not be clear. We are, one question is, if we are consuming 5 antibiotics, 2 heavy metals in very, very low dose, what is they are going to affect on the human health? So we do this type of study. What is the synergetic effects? So if we are consuming very low doses, they have the effect on our DNA. Just the tapering of the tail shows that it is having a damage on our demand. So even if with a low dose, we have to go for that, the mitigation strategies. So these are the impact on the DNA. So in the human samples, blood samples and residues, we also studied that they are accumulating. In the animals, they are the fats also, they are coming in the milk. They are coming in the milk, but in the human body, they are being on storing in our fat and milk. Similarly, the residues in the mother milk, the mother milk has more residues than even the animal of animal. Then the antibiotic residues, this is a matter of concern these days. So this is what the media campaign is through, that we are having a penicillin in our milk. So this is what's the present view of the antibiotic uses. Here is one model, the one Proctor model, which counts the India as top 5 most antimicrobial use consumption in India in coming days. I do not agree with it. I mean, here come to have discussion with us. They have simply done the model by the weight of the animals which is giving. We have the large number of as a growth promoter. We are not giving the growth promoter antibiotics to the large animals, only to the pig and poultry, and we have calculated on the total population. And so, but it has given hint for us that we have to avoid the use of the antibiotics. So these are the few hazards. Chlorofenicol is, I give the number one chlorofenicol, which has been banned by all the countries because it is going to affect on the children's health. So these are the few data about that. Only 5%, 2% samples are above permissible limits of the milk. So heating do not have any effect. Some people say that pasteurization of milk or heating the milk or product is causing the decrease the level. It does not decrease, it decreases about 1 or 2%. So in the tetracycline, we have like 356 samples. So we do see that only 6 samples out of 356 samples are positive for MRL for the tetracycline and 1 for the chlorotetracycline. But the problem is for the enrofloxacin. It is 4 samples. Percent samples are above permissible limits in the milk samples. So this is this year's study. This is out of the 200 samples, only 5 samples are above permissible limits as they contain the residues of the antibiotics. These are various antibiotics. So these antibiotics in very low dose has a problem in or developing a antibiotic resistance. This need to be studied. So this is one of the main picture coming in the media after testing the 40 samples by one of the NGO. And the day they give this picture, the poultry prices decreases to the half. This is the media, so they didn't confirm it. On the same day, one of my students was doing the seminar, completing the thesis. We have tested 150 samples, only the 7 samples was above permissible limit. So simply presence of the antibiotic residues in detecting by the very, very sophisticated equipment doesn't mean that our food is not fit for consumption. Similarly, in the adult human, we have only 1 sample out of 106 samples which is above permissible limit. Honey is a big problem. Or you can see that about 18% samples are above permissible limits for the antibiotic residues. Mainly the oxytetracycline residues are coming and the beekeepers are giving it in their feed to the bees to protect them. So this is the way how we calculate the hazard index for the antibiotics. This is the hazard index is 0.01 or 0.02, which is very, very low than the 1. So these are international studies. Heavy metals. So one is the problem of heavy toxic due to industrialization and commercialization. So we have analyzed about 1,000 samples for the heavy metals. So the main problem is the lead, nickel, cadmium and arsenic. Lead is coming in very, very high quantities in almost all the product. I tried to find what is the major source, we couldn't find it, and we didn't publish this data because till we confirmed that it is actually the lead, we are not working. But lead is coming in all the products, our products, the water, buffalo milk, fish, milk, the lead is coming, but all the other are below permissible limits. Similarly, the other scientists, they have also shown that the samples are below permissible, although they are coming in the I will just give you one example of the Maggies. They have the lead problem in that. They are not, I'm not sure that they have not put the lead in that Maggie. Our environment is contaminated with all the food, and all the crops are contaminated with using commercialization, using the dirty water, contaminated water. And from all these sources which are coming in the feed are the main source of contamination. So that are emerging issues. So the media is working on that. The emerging issues are the aflatoxins, which is the other issue, but these are coming in picture, adulterants, disruptors, and bisphenol. Aflatoxins, you see that it is coming from the hot and humid weather. 25 to 50% bird for crops are affected with the mycotoxins. Aflatoxin B1 is aflatoxin. Milk has been demonstrated to introducing aflatoxin M1 into the human diet, and it is a stable compound, it is not destroyed by the pasteurization. So it is affecting our health, decreasing our immunity. So we have the problem is that I am working in FSSI. They have the limits for B1, that M1, that is milk. But we do not have any limits for B1, that is in the feed. From feed, it goes to the milk, but we do not control the feed. But we control that milk should not be. But we need to have a regulations that our feed should not have the aflatoxins in it. There is no standard, till we have no standards in the feed, we can't control in the milk. So, mycotoxin levels, you will see it's significant problem that it is 54% samples are above permissible limits. This is the main problem. If the pasteurized after the dilution or the ultra heating, it doesn't like heat kill it. Earlier in studies when we do it, we find that it might the heat that pasteurization is killing the mycotoxins level, but it is the dilution factor. The dilution factor decreases the residues. Similarly, in the season, it's more in the rainy season and the winter season compared to the summer. It's hot and humid. So it is all the samples are very, very high levels. Without the below detectable limits, we are saying that in the pesticide heavy metal, I say that even the low levels are detected and we are counting it, but for the aflatoxins, the levels are very, very high compared to, and we find that. This is a diagram which shows that if the feed has the pesticide, the milk has pesticide. 96.4% sample concentrate feed has the pesticide, then the milk pesticide are in the feed. Only the 6% samples are due to the other type of the ingredient than the commercial feed. So the commercial feed or the concentrate feed is the main culprit for the aflatoxin amber. On boiling, its reduction is only 7 to 10%. They're using various type of the methods. So regarding the endocrine disruptors, so we have also done the work on the various endocrine disruptors. So the primary study, the levels are comparatively low. In many of the studies, this is from the fish, water and sediment. We find that endocrine disruptors are present in the soil. These residues are present in the soil sediment, not in the water. So many times we change the water to the new water, but the contaminants remain present in the soil, which is the main source of the contaminants in the future. So the milk adulteration, lot of the media highlights these days. So people are thinking they're making the synthetic milk. It is just a cartoon that the new milk is coming. Why to adulterate? To increase the milk volume. To increase the milk volume, improves the aesthetic value, increase in the shelf life. We have done studies about for these samples, about 700 samples. They are positive for the various types of the adulterant like formaldehyde, neutralizers, water, urea, starch, salt, cane water. So this is the type, about 81% for the 21% for water, 12% for neutralizer, salt for the 14%, that is made to increase the specific gravity. So it is a emerging problem and big problem we need to consider work on this thing. But it is a very simple to control. We have the kits, small kits, very easy. Equipment cost about 10 rupees per sample. We can do it at home, but we are not aware about it. So these are the harmful effects of these adulterants. So government is making many efforts. The various committees has been for the antibiotic consumption. The government animal husbandry department has also given the instruction for use of antibiotics. Advisory has been issued. FSSA has issued the advisory for these quality control. Recommendation on the use of the antibiotics has been given by the government of India. Then last few minutes. What's the role of the veterinarian? Veterinarians have to do major responsibility for the epidemiological surveillance and the animal diseases and ensure the safety and sustainability, application of risk analysis process to provide the livestock producer information and awareness, control and reduction of biological hazard and the post-mortem. So the various rules and regulations have been integrated into FSSA. FSSA is mainly controlling, but they are still making the various rules and regulations for the various. After its implementation, we have to work on it. It is a shared responsibility for all the persons. So mandatory regulations and enforcement will act for the food control. I will just say it's 2 months. I will go simply for the challenging acts. We need to have a setting of the food standards enforcement, risk-based assessment, effective foodborne surveillance system. Traceability is one of the important. Go from where that contaminated milk or contaminated product is coming. Inform and educate and communicate with the consumers. Food safety management, capacity building, and such development. And one thing, challenging ahead is we have to work on 2 fronts. One to the mitigation strategy, control our contaminants, make our food safe, and develop a database and develop the SOP on the basis of which the report comes to for the publication. And every publication has to follow the same rules. Otherwise, it is giving a half-cooked report, which is affecting our profession. Then awareness campaign of the quality of the products and countering of the false media campaigns. So we need to test each and every sample. Otherwise, people will think that have a cow on the table, then they themselves will make it and have it their milk. Thank you.
Professor J.P.S. Ginsar for a nice presentation, an overview which is more scientific rather than based on the misinformation which we are facing in media. Please ask one or two quick, crisp questions